Greetings, Divine Nation. Welcome to the Metaphysics Today channel. This is Minerva, and I'm delighted to have you with me. This video class is appropriate for beginner and above tarot students. It is not appropriate for total newbies to tarot card reading, as none of the introductory material about tarot cards in general is covered here. New videos are posted on this channel throughout the week, so subscribe and set your bell alert so you don't miss anything. I post videos on divination, wellness, the Aquariana Gateway lessons, and the life mate questions here, so it's worth it to you to subscribe and set the bell alert so you don't miss anything. Please stay tuned to the end for announcements. Now let's get started. This video is the companion to the book Freestyle Tarot, Unconventional Interpretations, an ebook available on Amazon, where you can also download the Kindle e-reader for free. This video is made for those of you who are not big readers or who prefer to watch a video. That having been said, in this companion video, I will not be going over the content related to each card in the entire major and minor arcanas as I do in the book. Here, I will just give a general overview of what Freestyle Tarot card reading is, how it works, and some examples. Unconventional interpretations process and a handful of examples on how this tarot reading system works is all this video is going to cover, as that is only fair to those who have invested in the book. The book is less than $10, so it's not going to break the bank, more than likely. One of the best things about this tarot reading system is this process of unconventional interpretation does not rely on memorization. All you need to do is use your eyes and let your intuition tell you what it sees. This work gives you permission to break and ignore the ordinary tarot card reading rules and see whatever it is that you see in the cards, despite element, suit, number, tradition, memorized keywords, etc. This video should spark your willingness to practice looking at the cards and taking them at face value, reading into the symbols whatever feels right to you, and taking in the details is being just as important, and sometimes even more so than the general image or label. It is important to understand that tarot card readers do have to have a working understanding of, but not be obedient to, the traditional definitions as ordained from on high by noted authors from today or days gone by. But that is only half of the formula for arriving at an accurate and insightful, even useful tarot reading. The other half of the formula involves your subconscious reading of the cards, not just by the card's placement in a spread, but also by the unlocking of the codes as you perceive them, which are present in the card's face. Now, this is not my symbolism class, nor is it my elemental dignities class. This class is simply focused on taking at face value what you actually see in a card. This class is, however, related to my Rock Reading the Tarot series course, which is in development and is released class by class, another reason to subscribe to this channel. Now, let me get back to this task. A little background about me might be helpful in your understanding of how I read Freestyle Tarot. And it suggests why this book and class was created. I have hundreds of tarot books, if you count the substantial books that come with many decks, plus the standalone books about tarot. And I'm not talking about those little white books that come in the deck boxes, though some of them are amazing. They are generally worth the read. I have read most of these books cover to cover and find the variety of interpretations of the individual cards to be dizzying, and more often than not memorable. I believe this is because the interpretations of the cards offered by the deck creators and authors resonate with the thoughts, dreams, and experiences of those deck creators and authors. And this is not a bad thing, but it is not my thing. I cannot read tarot from someone else's experience, only my own. Do you find this to be true for yourself also? Let me know in the comments. Now, if you agree with me at this point, you might be asking, if she and I are on the same page with this attitude, then what the heck's the value of this book or this video? Well, I see that as a fair and reasonable question, and here is my answer. I have noticed from my own experience from talking with clients and tarot buddies that the cards mean different things at different times. A client or their problem can trigger a new meaning for a card or a combination of cards just as easily as my ongoing life experience can. This flash of reading insight is what has inspired this project. I'm simply offering some of the interpretations I have found to be accurate and unusual, according to my background experience and perceptions of the cards, after 30 years of immersing myself in them. For those of you who share my interest in forensic tarot reading, which is using tarot to help with private investigations related to civil or criminal matters, you'll find unconventional interpretations to be a necessary skill to have. The beauty of this process is that it allows you to use any deck you are instinctively drawn to if it has illustrated pips. Also, each tarot deck has its own set of symbols and points of view developed within it, unless it is a strict Rider-Waite clone. This reality is, for me, part of the fun of collecting and using a variety of decks. Using these non-standard or variant or thematic decks allows me to expand my awareness of what any card might mean in any given situation. An insight received via one deck can be transferred to another similar card of another deck. And by similar card, I mean, the Two of Cups in one deck and the Two of Cups in another deck. They don't have to look similar necessarily. So the key is to just relax into really looking at the images, rather than being frozen with fear at the names on the cards, or even being overwhelmed by the occult symbols. And keep in mind that occult simply means secret, not scary. In the book Freestyle Tarot, Unconventional Interpretations, I cover every card in both the major and minor arcanas from the upright and reversed perspective. I have come up with some new unconventional interpretations for many cards since I wrote the book. So let's look at some examples that are not included in the book to demonstrate this technique. And feel free to contribute your thoughts on unconventional interpretation of these examples in the comments. You never know when others in the community will be inspired by your contribution. So in this section, we're going to look at several examples of cards from the Rider-Waite deck as well as from the Conley Tarot. You'll probably notice from my unconventional interpretations that my background comes through a lot in how I see things. I have a background in law and government, so I tend to see images and have more reading experience from the perspective of those backgrounds. But I also have a background in music, so that can also come out. But keep in mind that your unconventional interpretations are yours and should reflect either the question presented by the querent or your own inner promptings based on your life experience. Let's take a look at the Seven of Swords. For me, the Seven of Swords means social attitudes and expectations of others are being walked away from, or neglected, or thwarted in some way, perhaps even undermined. It can also represent, in the Conley card on the right, perhaps a musical duet, or If you look at the two swords that are appearing to be stuck up into the cloud in the Conley card, to me they remind me of hospital tables or lab tables. So maybe it's a gurney or a surgical table or some laboratory table or a lab that's involved as a location or a condition or circumstance in the reading. Perhaps the cliche of making music together or making beautiful music together applies to a particular reading when you see these two musicians displayed in the Conley card. If you look down in the left-hand bottom corner of the Conley card, there's a few mushrooms in the ground, so perhaps that's an ingredient that's been in a food or in a poison, or perhaps there's some hallucinogenic problem happening in a person's life, or in something that they're eating is making them hallucinate, or perhaps they were under the influence of a hallucinogenic when they committed a crime. Maybe even something's located in an old-fashioned choir box in some lovely older homes. There was a sort of like a Juliet-style balcony where live musicians used to perform for parties, and perhaps some crime was committed there, or some evidence of a crime could be found there. So that's one unconventional, well, a series of unconventional ways to look at the Seven of Swords. Next, we're going to look at the Queen of Wands. In the Conley version of the Queen of Wands, we see a queen accompanied by her beautiful black cat, and they both appear to be looking in the same direction. So perhaps something's got their attention, or something's got her attention, or something's got the attention of the querent that's for good or for ill. Perhaps the country of Egypt should be a destination, as represented by the pyramids in the background. Or a desert area would be a good place to go on a vacation or to move to. Perhaps there's a big, giant box of chocolates coming into someone's life, or maybe chocolate's making them sick because they're eating too much of it. I think that shape down in the left-hand corner, to me, reminds me of a big Valentine's Day box of chocolates. Perhaps hand-picked flowers would make an appropriate gift. Maybe even looking over your shoulder is something that you need to be doing, or the querent needs to be doing. Perhaps the direction of the northwest, based upon the gaze of the queen in her upright position, matters, or in her reversed position. I like to think of this meaning that the queen has disappeared, or someone has disappeared, or has been disappeared, or is going to disappear, depending on where maybe the card falls in a spread. Or perhaps with the queen reversed, the southeast is a direction that perhaps criminals have gone in, or someone should move to, or would be the best place for a meeting, or whatever context the detail of a direction might mean. Let's look at the Ten of Swords next. Everybody's favorite card, right? No. Anyway, to me, when the Ten of Swords comes up, very often I think of mental pressure, or someone's on the verge of a nervous breakdown, or has had a nervous breakdown. Or perhaps there's paralysis involved, with the spinal column being pinned down and immovable. Perhaps, as you see in the Conley card, someone's just hurting all over for emotional reasons, or psychological reasons, or physical reasons. Or perhaps this person is engulfed by many or too many ideas or feelings that are creating problems for them or need to be overcome. In the Four of Wands, as depicted by either one of these cards, I see a safe place, a home, camping or outdoor living, Maybe someone's going on a hiking trip or should go on a hiking trip. Or maybe they'll find the body along a hiking trail. You can see a patio party, especially in the Rider-Waite deck where you see the people in the background, the 3 people in the background looking like they're having a good time. Or maybe there's an outdoor wedding. Or perhaps the trellis is representative of a chuppah and this is a Jewish wedding. Maybe people are raising a glass and toasting something. Or perhaps their raised hands indicate signaling of some sort. Or maybe something's located in a vineyard, or has occurred in a vineyard, or ought to occur in a vineyard. I hope that you're starting to get a feel for how you can look at the cards and see whatever it is they need to tell you based on, of course, the question or the concern or your task. Unconventional interpretations, as I mentioned, is necessary if you're interested in forensic tarot reading. So get used to looking at your cards in a different sort of way. I was going to stop with the 4 of Wands, but I'm having a good time. So let's do the King of Swords, because in the Conley deck, he isn't depicted quite as the strict, fatherly, harsh, severe sort of man who wants everything done by the book that you see in the Rider-Waite deck. To me, I see someone who's hurting themselves, or maybe they've just recently hurt someone else, perhaps even physically. I see self-inflicted wounds with the cuts on the hands and legs, or perhaps there's a weapon has been used that has a silver hilt and a golden blade, as depicted in the image in the Conley deck. Or maybe there's a blade that has blood on it or is rusted, which is what this image on the Conley card reminds me of, that is important to be found, or perhaps will identify some other suspect other than the one that's already in custody. Who knows? But I hope that this exercise has been a little bit helpful to you. I suggest you take out several of your favorite decks. Try to use the ones with illustrated pips. The unillustrated pips just don't give enough food for the imagination, I think. And see what you can see. Really look at the cards and see what you see that has nothing to do with what any book is probably going to suggest to you. It is my hope that you will see my approach to interpreting the tarot cards as free-spirited and easily influenced often by the context of the reading. I urge you to try this approach for yourself. It will free you from memorization and stiff application of keywords or concepts. Put this technique to work, and you'll be better able to ease into any deck. So, unleash the tarot detective in you and produce accurate readings by breaking the rules of conventional card interpretation. Unlock the superpower of the tarot and take your readings to a higher level. Part of the initiation into tarot reading is making peace with keyword and key concepts. Readers worth their salt know they must allow the process of letting the cards speak to them happen. Doing so results in an inescapable step up in psychic development, resulting in a mature and confident tarot card reader and consultant. This unconventional interpretations reading style can be an empowering process that gratifies immediately if you let it happen. I really believe tarot card reading has never been more exciting than by using this process. If you struggle with confidently reading tarot cards, the Freestyle Tarot Unconventional Interpretations book is for you. Give yourself permission to be free from the shackles of traditional card interpretations, whether your question involves love, money, domestic life, business transactions, political campaigns, criminal investigations, whatever. Use this video, or better still the book, Freestyle Tarot Unconventional Interpretations, to inspire new insights. Enjoy learning how to enrich your tarot readings by taking a fresh look at any card from any deck. The book I've been mentioning uses the Rider-Waite style deck for its inspiration, but the principles can be applied to any deck in your collection. I've used the Conley Tarot as well as the Rider-Waite, the Radiant Rider-Waite deck for this video, for example, and you can see that the cards are different. Yet, of course, the traditional keywords can apply, but the images on each card are fresh and give different clues and insights. The book happens to cover each card in the major and minor arcana from both upright and reverse perspective. So it will give you much more food for thought than the video might. So be sure and it's worth a read. So in closing, please know the material I present on this channel is a labor of love, and I so enjoy creating it for you, but it does take a lot of time and energy to create and produce. So I really appreciate donations to help me support the channel, and if you can, please give generously at whatever amount is comfortable for you. Even $1 helps me continue to help you and help others. It makes me feel like you appreciate what I'm doing. It's easy to donate, so just click on the donations link in the description box. Giving is entirely optional, but it is greatly appreciated. Ask your questions and share your stories in the comments. If you're interested in full classes, you can purchase them at metaphysicsLessons.com at the store. Please share this video on your social platforms to help this channel grow and to let others know about it. And that's also a very easy way to help support the community, and is also very much appreciated. For information about all my books currently available on Amazon, go to the store's drop-down menu and click on the Harvard Publications button at the metaphysics.com website. To order a private reading or life report, click on the Divination Studio menu, then click on whatever button interests you. Subscribe to join us here on Wednesday for wellness classes, Thursday for the Life Mate questions, and thanks for visiting with me today for this Tuesday tutorial. I offer free timeless metaphysics and divination lessons here posted on Tuesdays. Thank you for joining me today, and come back real soon. Bye for now.